Welcome to Align and Elevate. Love who you are. A show where I can be me and you can be you. Let's get started. So precious. This is a new human learning how to walk, learning how to be on earth. Instinctively following her parents. And sometimes we fall down and we get back up. And we keep walking. So precious. So this morning's video and podcast is brought to you from Florida. I'm at Topsail Hill Preserve State Park. As you can see, nature, they have 3 miles of nature preserved down in the very far end of this picture is buildings, hotels and things. But this part of it is pristine, and I'm so happy that they kept this place pure. There is no trash here. It's just beauty. The sunrise. It is July 8th, 2024. Just beautiful. Taking the ocean sounds. Feeling emotional this morning for some reason. And so that I stay as authentic as possible, I'm just going to ramble this morning and see what comes through. There's no clear agenda for this one. Like I said, I'm feeling a little emotional. It might be because the reason we're here is we had just taken a 1,000-mile drive of stuff from our house to my daughter who lives in Georgia so that she can set up her first real apartment by herself. And we brought her cat to her. Her name is Stormy. That was so fun to see her drive with us, this cat. And every time we would stop, I would open the door. She was in a little wire kennel in the car, and she would just peer out and want to see what's out there. She wasn't in distress and wanting to get out of the kennel necessarily. She was just being curious. She hardly ever slept the whole trip because she just really wanted to see what was up there. How many of us are like that? We're just curious about life. And that's the way we should be with life, really. In every moment, be curious. What is this? What is that? This morning I walked down to the beach. It was a beautiful walk. I was out here before pretty much anybody else. Maybe a couple fishermen beat me and one surfer. I came and sat and played in the sand, and I'm just being curious. I wrote a little love note to my husband of almost 20 years, which I love. This is my tools that I found on the beach. This little piece right here is real light wood. I have no idea what kind of wood it is. And I'm sitting kind of by a bench in the shade. But it's really neat. And I don't know what these little guys are either. It's an interesting, very smooth wood thing. I don't know what kind they are, but I'm using them as tools this morning. This is my writing pencil. This is my chalkboard, my canvas. So I was drawing the infinity sign earlier. I don't know how many of you know about the infinity sign, but this is what it looks like. And this is us. This is humanity constantly moving through life, through existence. And sometimes we meet right here in the middle. And this is where you are in the now moment. And each of those loops can represent the past of where we've been. And then we come back into the present moment, sometimes thinking about the future moment, and we travel. And when you do that, you come back into this present moment again. And then something jogs your memory, kind of like I did last night. It was weird. I had this memory very clearly of a townhouse that my first husband and I had way back in, what year would that have been? 1990? Probably would have been early 1990. It was actually our second apartment as a married couple, or second home. But I was remembering it for some reason last night, probably because I had just dropped my daughter off in her first apartment, maybe, I don't know. So that threw me back into this loop when I did that memory jog of that first place where I lived. And then I came back to the present moment and went back to sleep with my current husband. But as I was doing my walk this morning, I was just, kind of thinking, pretty much staying in the present, but sometimes, little thoughts of future, what we're going to have for breakfast, go and get coffee later, what we're going to do today, what we're going to see, go on a little date tonight. I guess part of this post is about trying to stay here more often, because as humans we tend to not do that. We get stuck in our past patterns, our past beliefs. We worry about the future. My husband and I didn't really have the funds to do this trip, but we did it anyway. And I'm trusting God to provide me with the resources that I need to get back home and to pay the gas bill for all the gas we used getting here. I did buy a lottery ticket and won $20. That was kind of cool. So, staying in the present moment is hard sometimes, because we let all of that other stuff influence us. But you just have to bring yourself back to your body. With a simple breath. taking in your surroundings brings you back into the present moment. The minute you stop and feel your breath and stop the mind chatter and the runaway thoughts, the fear and the worry dissolves in that moment. Those things are so detrimental to our life. So the more we can stay out of fear, the more we stay out of worry, and just trust that what I'm doing right now is what I'm supposed to be doing. When I first came out here to the beach, I didn't want to get my shorts dirty. I didn't want to get them wet. I brought my journal down here and my phone and water and some delicious zucchini bread that one of my clients brought to me. Shout out to Marilyn. It's awesome. Tastes great on the beach. And they have some little benches here. I'll show them to you. That I was going to sit on. And honestly, my back started hurting. I was like, man, they're great. They keep you out of the sand. But they're not comfortable. They were hurting my back. And so I sat down on the sand, and it was like an immediate just kind of feeling. It was just like I'm home, like this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be dirty. As you can see in the sand, I can feel the sand in my hands. And I would have not found these sticks if I hadn't sat down. Just such little bitty, tiny things we wouldn't experience if I allowed myself to stay uncomfortable on that bench. Because I didn't want to get dirty. It's okay to get dirty. It's okay to step out of that comfort of not being dirty. There was a certain point of comfort for me to stay clean this morning. And I'll be 1,000% honest with you. There weren't very many people down here this morning. And all I really wanted to do was take my clothes off and go swimming. And just get in that luscious water and let it bathe across me. But because of our society, I knew that wouldn't be, quote, proper or legal, honestly, which is a shame. Because it's just a body. It's just a skin suit. It's something that houses our consciousness, our being, and it's just not something to be ashamed of. It's something to be honored, honestly, and taken care of. And one day I hope our society realizes those things and changes our viewpoints on those things, because that one tiny perspective is so limiting. You know, the whole clothing thing and properness and embarrassment and the shame that goes with your body and what it looks like and whether it has fat rolls and cellulite and muscles and, you know, tan or skin color. I mean, all those things are so petty if you really think about it. Those are petty. Life is way bigger and more important and all of those things than something as simple as clothing. You know, God didn't give Adam and Eve clothing. He just gave them a body. The human aspect created the clothing, not God. You know, they were embarrassed and covered themselves with a leaf. Where did that embarrassment come from? Because when they were born and created, God didn't create embarrassment. He didn't create shame. We created those things. And when we can step out of those things, life becomes a little sweeter. I know for me it did. I let go of some very heavy shame that I've been carrying for probably 40 years, maybe longer. I just recently did that in the last 3 months. And it was not a simple journey or an easy journey, but it was so worth it. So worth it. I feel like a new person. I feel like me, whatever that means. Even my husband the other day said, you know, it feels like the you I married 20 years ago is back. It's like it had been covered up with all those feelings and emotions and things that I created for myself. And so I'm letting them go now, and they are gone, and I am so grateful and so happy to no longer be in this loop. I was stuck in this loop right here, that past loop, with those feelings and those emotions. And I am now here. I try to be here. I shouldn't say try, I don't like that word either. I am in the present moment as often as I possibly can. There's a hurricane happening today over our house in Texas, Hurricane Beryl, and thank the Lord and universe, God, whoever, but we have 2 wonderful children that are holding down the fort at home, taking care of our house, taking care of my mother-in-law, my parents, while we're gone. And, you know, I did not have any stress at all about what might happen to our house and our possessions and our belongings during this storm. I knew I asked my spirit, my guides, my angels, God, to protect my home while we were gone. And once I said that prayer, I let it go. You know, it'll be what it'll be. My husband kind of wanted to leave early and not come out here and enjoy this day that we set aside for ourselves to just be. We were going to drive home today instead of tomorrow, and I was like, I'm not worried about it. Whatever will be, will be. We'll deal with it when we get home. It's just stuff. It's not, our lives are safe. And that's all that matters, and we're together, and the stuff can be, either bought again or let go of. It's okay. So I saw that he was a little anxious about it and a little stressed. And he was mostly worried about his mom being by herself. But you know what? That's okay too. Because we can only worry about ourselves, truthfully. And yes, we should take care of others. But we also have to just look out for ourselves and what's best for us in the moment. And for me personally, this is what my soul needed. It needed a break. It needed to come and just be at the beach. It needed to experience being away from home for a little bit. So healing to the soul. So I'm thankful that you guys are listening to me ramble for 20 minutes. Oh, gosh. I didn't realize it had been this long, but it's okay too. Take what you need from this message about truly being here in the moment. Right here. Stay here as much as you can. The rest of it will work out. When you're in the present moment, allow the thoughts and the feelings and the emotions to flow. Let them flow through you. Don't let them get stuck. I'm literally crying right now. I have no idea why. I think part of it is happiness. It really is. It's happy. I am happy right now. I have everything I need right now. I have a beautiful husband waiting for me back at the cabin. I have a wonderful family back in Texas and in Georgia. I have this present moment of this beautiful, beautiful scenery, the calming of the waves, the feel of the sand is amazing. It's soft, it's cool at the moment. I'm sure it'll be hot later. I found a perfect spot right here. There's a sign behind me, so I'm in the shade, and it feels really nice. So all is being provided for me right now, and I'm super grateful for that. And I just put it out there to the universe and to God and Creator to bring me more of these experiences. Bring me the resources and the ability to have more moments like this. This is what I want. This is what my soul wants. So with that, I'm going to end because you guys are probably tired of listening to me. Just notice today, how can you be in the moment? And what can you enjoy about that moment? What do you appreciate? And when you stop and just say, I am grateful for what I'm experiencing right now, it does send out that frequency and that vibration so that it comes to you more often. And if you happen to be in a situation or an experience that is not pleasant and not something you want to have more of, acknowledge that as well. And just say, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to have this experience again. Go back to your awareness. Why am I having this experience? This difficult struggle? What am I to learn from it? How can I change it? Is it an attitude change? Is it a belief change? Is it an emotional change? Is it an environment change? Is it the people I'm with change? And I know those changes can be really scary and difficult. But I can pretty much promise you that I wouldn't be having this particular moment and this particular experience maybe had I stayed in a difficult marriage that I was in the first marriage. I probably would not be having this exact experience right now. I know I wouldn't, because I wouldn't have the love of my husband that I have now. Because that relationship has taught me so many different things than my first relationship did. So if you're having a difficult time in a relationship, examine it. Figure out what it is you truly want and take that small leap of faith to change it. And I'm not saying that means you leave it, but you can change it. You can change the perspective of it. Communication is key. My husband and I have really been looking at that in the last 3 or 4 months after being married for almost 20 years. We had let that part of our relationship slide, and that doesn't work ever. Communication is key. Communicating what you're feeling, what you want out of life, what your fears are, what your worries are. Because when you do that, when you speak them out loud, they become smaller. They're not so big because they're not just in your head. Alright, now I rambled on even more. I'm done. My soul feels complete. I hope you do too. Enjoy your beautiful day. Get out and do some nature therapy. I love all you guys. See you on the next one.